Hey, we're recording. Yay. Continuing in Just Cause 2. I don't really have too much to talk about. Maybe just two things with AMD. One, I can also mention. I'll mention that one. GOG is holding a sale at the moment with, what is it, over 1,500 games on sale? Their Find Your Indie sale is what they're calling it. That ends all the way down there. I ended in this portion. Whatever. If I go north, I'll be able to get the thing. Well, I should be able to get a helicopter. But anyway, yeah, the GOG sale, that ends August 1st, which is Monday. So if you want to look at expanding your game library, that might be a good thing to check out. But it is a Find Your Indie sale, so it'll be indie game. It's fine, playing very good. Not seeing a helicopter, it might be an air. Which is fine, it'll still be faster than... Okay, this will still be faster than just trying to glide. Oh wait, there's a helicopter. It's not a military helicopter, though, so... There'll be all kinds of... And when I wrote the thing, I did the write-up, they also have a special 3RPG bundle that had not sold out yet, even though there was limited number. But it's Evoland, Knights of Pen and Paper. I can't remember the other one, but it's like two of them I have, so it's like, nah, I wouldn't be interested. Yeah, so you can check that out. Stuff I have noted includes AMD having a special sale event kind of thing with basically the full lineup, it seems, of Ryzen 5000 and Radeon RX 6000 series products on sale. And at pretty good prices, too, it seems. Like the 5900X at, what was it, $360? So that's the latest 12 core from them for $360. I mean, I don't need to be spending the money right now, but I will admit, I want to upgrade the test system. It's either going to be 5900X or 5800X 3D, but I need to wait and see which has, which would be more appropriate for testing in the future. I was not expecting that. Really wasn't. Yeah, if like Zen 4 just, kicks past even the 5800X 3D, then I'd want that so that testing can be made more relevant. Otherwise, I would right back here. I'll get the helicopter. But if the 1500X 3D is like still ahead of a number of the Zen 4 CPUs, then go more for the 5900, because that, for my non-testing stuff, having to do video processing, for example, that the 5900X would be better. the other thing from AMD that's very, very interesting, and I haven't, but it would be tempting to do testing with it. You know, bet if I went back there, I could pick something up. But you know what? Let's just go. That looked like some sort of installation they have in a military helicopter. And I'll also clear it. That's right. So I was just trying to remember what was that. Yeah. But yeah, AMD has finally, after years and years, have released graphics drivers with OpenGL optimizations. Because one thing that has been true for a very long time is that on Windows, AMD GPUs kind of suck for OpenGL. It wasn't that the GPUs were bad, it was that they basically were not, this might also, they didn't have in there certain optimizations that would have made them better.
Attack! Attack!
But it's also in like OpenGL, the later version of it, were kind of garbage. It's like in NVIDIA, as I recall, and I know I've talked about it before, one thing that I saw talk about how basically NVIDIA just wrote their own version of OpenGL. So that's actually, you know, what is run by their GPU, as opposed to actual OpenGL, whereas AMD was running more the straight OpenGL, which wasn't as good. No idea how they did it, but apparently they've now put in place optimizations that are seeing close to doubling of performance in some, including Minecraft, which is basically the only highly relevant OpenGL game today. There's plenty of applications that use OpenGL heavily, though. But as far as games go, now it's Minecraft. And yeah, I would, maybe at some point I will try to do some testing, but right now I don't feel any special need to. And it's also one of those with the, it would only be really worth it with the test system, because on the desktop, yes, it would help whenever I play Minecraft, which I'm not actively doing. Because it looks like these enhancements are for just the whole of supported GPU, not just the latest. And I got the RX 580 in the desktop. But it's like, yeah, but why should I disturb my drivers? It's kind of one of those, when you got a card as old as the RX 580 installed, it's kind of not worth updating drivers unless you're explicitly told you have to do it, or else. Which my dad just ran into that. He's got a GTX 1050, but in order to have it work with some editing software of his, it was like, hey, you gotta install an update. It's like, I have no idea why it thinks it needs an update. The GTX 1050 is old enough that it's like, no, there's no optimizations left for that thing. There's also no feature that needs to be enabled. It's, I do not know. But, yeah. Probably is, but I hope there isn't. There to pick up. It's just such a pain once the No, because that would have it showing up. Yeah, once the water tower is destroyed, it's such a big deal up there.
I got him! Move on! Move on!
But yeah, so if you're still playing Minecraft and have a AMD GPU, now would be a good time to update your driver. These drivers also implemented the AMD noise suppression, which that is limited to only the 6000 series or newer. That's coming. Which I've not seen too much talking about it too deeply, but it sounds like, you know, it works. It's not necessarily great yet, but it does apply a deep learning method, which right now I'm using that. RNN is a neural network system. You can check. I'm pretty sure neural networks count as deep learning. Right? Dang. Right. So, yeah, I mean, disappointing that is restricted, but it's also the whole, I mean, with the sale on GPUs at the moment, there was a part of me that was tempted to look into an upgrade for the desktop, but it's like, yeah, but I know 7000's coming, and supposedly it's supposed to be a lot more,
It was worth every minute.
a lot more performance, or a lot better energy efficiency. So it's kind of a, maybe wait. Wait and look into that, because supposedly, I mean, naturally, a lot of these rumors are just for hype, for clicks. But supposedly they're talking like the mid-range able to hit the current.
Locked on target.
The heck? Being able to hit the like 6800 level, 6800. 100 XT and 6900.
Missile locked on target. Borrow this?
There. What's the other one? Ah, it's right there. Ooh. Anyway, yeah, so, if that rumor were true, so, okay, let's say that rumor is true. There's a point I kind of want to talk about concerning GPU performance, because it is kind of annoying how somehow we've seen stratification within the market. any more to destroy. So I'm just gonna head over here. Because I know I saw right there. Pick up a minigun. So for my use, I'd be fine with even a current mid-range, like 700X, that level form. Because even if I were to upgrade my monitor, I'm not going to 4K. I don't need 4K. I'd be much happier, I think, with 1440p and 144 Hz. Something in that range. But I don't need to go to 4K. I don't want to go to a 32-inch display. 27-inch, I think, would be as high as I'd want to go. And it's like, part of the reason I don't want to go to 32 inches is, besides the fact that I'm not sure it would fit, it's like, I don't need a monitor the size of my television. Yeah. Yeah, I think that 1440 would be fine. In which case, then I don't really need... there's a part of me that would love to have something like a 6800 or 600 XT. Because it's like, at that point, I know I'm going to be able to play basically any game I want at high setting. And by I don't mean like high preset settings, I mean just very high set up, turned up all the way kind of setting. And it's nice to be able to do that, but at the same time, I have really come to appreciate the fact that you do not need to. That is very unnecessary in the bulk of games today. They still look very good when turned down, is what I...
That'll come in handy.
But is still that whole, if I could get that level of performance at a good price and good amount of power utilization, because that I would be more concerned with my desktop, then I'd be happy. But, and this is where it's kind of annoying, and NVIDIA does this more than AMD, I want to say. But that doesn't mean that AMD doesn't also do it. They actually do it in a... The way that they also do it is in a very weird, why would they do it way. And that is where the other specs they compromise on in the mid-range. And as I said, both do. But it's, like the best example would be like the 1060 and 2060 both being 6 gig cards. Why not 8 gig? It's a weird thing to cut back on. Now true, it relates to the memory bus and all that, but it still is a weird thing to do, and it does hurt the product.
Backup has been sent. ETA 30 seconds.
There we go. So yeah, I don't purely like that. And that's something that I would be concerned about. Just in general, it's like, no, let's try to keep mid-range at 8 gig. It doesn't matter that technically... Where's my hell out there? It doesn't matter that technically 6 gig would be fine. It's kind of the whole, at this point, 8 gig is completely accessible as far as pricing, so keep at it. It's like, of all the things to cut back on that, and it is one of those... So I saw something where they were talking about price to performance for the upcoming generation. It's like, that's something that needs to be remembered, is that it's not just the GPU, it's the other hardware. That at mid-range, both AMD and NVIDIA are kind of guilty of cutting back, and it's like, why? Why are you hurting the performance there? It's like, NVIDIA definitely cuts back on the memory. AMD, though, what do they do? Well, they've cut back on the number of lanes, the electrical PCIe lane. Which also just say, why would you do this? I don't remember which GPUs it is, though, but some of them are they only have a by 8 physical connection. I don't think it might have been by 4 even, but it's like, why would you do that? I mean, it's fine if you want to, just have it limited where it's... I don't really know how you do it. But it's just the whole... Because PCIe doubles its bandwidth each generation, that is the design decision that PCI SIG tries to do. But it's like, you know, a by 8 PCIe 4 connection is the same as a by 16 PCIe 3 connection. Well, it would be nice if they, you know, even if you somehow limited it to total bandwidth that matches the 3.0 by 16 and 4.0 by 8, even if you limit it to that, make it so that if somebody only has PCIe 3, or at least has a, you know, full-length slot that they can occupy, let them, you know, have that full bandwidth. It's very weird that any company would limit it in that way, but, you know, and also I'm not sure what the benefit would be, aside from market stratification, or product stack stratification. Yeah, it's just, yeah, I don't know, and hopefully that's something that they won't keep doing. Yeah, it's part of why, with the whole, you know, price to performance, it's like some of this stuff is, you're having a GPU cut back more than it needs, or more than I'd want it to be. It's almost like you have to go to the upper end, to the higher end, just to ensure that you have all the features. That if you don't have all the features. Just, that's very weird, and I don't like it. But we'll see. See what happens. It'll also just be interesting to find out how accurate or inaccurate rumors are. The idea of mid-range matching top-end, it's not impossible. It really isn't, because with AMD we're expecting a significant change in architecture. Because in theory, they're going to a multi-chip design, which, depending on how exactly they are solving what problems that involves, yeah, could improve performance. It would also potentially improve yields, which would help with pricing. But another thing that is worth noting is, if I remember correctly, the 7nm they've been using at TSMC for a while now is still like the first gen 7nm. I like the extreme end of deep ultraviolet, or the very start of the extreme ultraviolet stuff. So it's like, yeah, it might, you know, there might still be plenty of room for performance there. Well, I really kind of got ahead of myself there. Supposedly they'll be moving to 6 and 5nm, which are significantly improved versions of the process node, including making them much more frequency friendly. So it's not unreasonable that they could manage to really improve performance. One thing I saw though, somebody asking the question, Computer Ed, though now Sapphire Ed, about which would people prefer, more performance or more efficiency, better efficiency. And it's one of those, I mean, you always want both, but it is, I do believe that most people today would go for efficiency. I voted efficiency because, like I said, I need, what I would want would be like a very capable 1440p card, maybe 4K punch. I don't need a 4K card. It would be nice if, you know, the ray tracing cape were very competent. Even as much as I do, you know, make fun of it, it still is a. I'd like to be able to turn it on at times.
Don't take it personally.
Nothing else I can collect data and confirm that yeah, it's not worth it. There we go. Alright. Now let's actually do that. So if I could get that in like 150 to 180 watt packet, that would be awesome. You know, basically the in RX 580, because the RX 580 when that came out was a 1080p class GPU, but it could punch to 1440p. It can't anymore. It's. I mean, some games this would definitely be able to, but modern games, no. It's more just actually in the 1080p class now. And it's not like there's any problem with that. I'm still perfectly happy. But it is just the whole. That's kind of what I would want. Is something that's power usage-wise around the same point, but is, you know, that extra step up in performance. There we go. Hopefully I'm going to be able to like pick up all of this stuff and then get the helicopter and eliminate that needs to be eliminated. More I can talk about is I will be over this weekend, hopefully. No, there's. We'll be putting together a new, well, rather soldering together a new keyboard. I actually have a drive some to me at the moment. Actually, the first time I will solder together an entire keyboard. Yeah, I'm not sure. Initially, I was hoping to do it on Saturday, tomorrow, since today I record these on Friday. But I might wait until Sunday because I've like put it together dry. Although it's not technically dry because I have lubricated the stabilizers. Yeah, I think I want to go and add some more. They're rattling still, and that's why I assembled it like I did. That is specifically why, so that I could lubricate them, see how it is, find that no, they need some more attention, do that, and then just get the soldering. Because once soldered, there wouldn't be anything I could do short of, and you can get these lubrication syringes, so you basically just push lubricant into the stabilizer. There. Yeah. That might not actually be all. I mean, this propaganda truck, I don't know if that'll be 9. I don't know if that'll be 9. Oh, no, that was. Okay. But yeah, this build should be very nice.
It's a tough job, but somebody's got to do it.
I still don't know if I want to do a write-up of it, though, or just, like, share it on the forum. We'll just have to see what I feel like. I haven't taken pictures, though, so I could do it. But I don't think I'd bother with trying to get video of soldering it all together. No, it's up there. Land, get that. Take off again with this. Well, no, let's...
Okay, move in! We got him!
The one thing, because I've dry fitted it all together, did try turning on the underglow LEDs, and because the case is an acrylic, yeah, even though they are underglow, okay, like, well, I never remember if it should be backlighting that's per key, like at each key, and I'm gonna put those in, but that I have to solder in. But the underglow was actually illuminating the keycaps because the light was going through the case all the way around.
Disloyalty is a disease for which death is the only cure. Please kill this traitor for us, Scorpio. You may choose the means of execution.
Helicopter.
The traitor scum is at the airport!
Figured that.
He is trying to escape in a helicopter! Quickly, my friend, get yourself airborne and blow him out of the skies before he gets away! You have passed the sickness, my friend. I thank you.
Just see. I mean, I can grab a new one of these, but also, where is it that I want to go? Alright, I want to go here. I'm not going to worry about that mission or that mission. I want to set this up. Clear that. Not entirely sure how long I've been going.
We have a visual requesting backup.
Am I thinking of anything else? I guess maybe one thing, which is well, it's not a rumor, I'm pretty sure they actually did just come out stating that for GTA 6, they will have the series' first female protagonist. Okay. It is interesting to see some people freaking out over that, for or against it. I can't help but believe that those two extremes are the minority. At least I hope so, because it's like, I don't care. Make sure it's a good game. I mean, that's all I need to enjoy a game. I don't need to, like, sexually identify with the main character. I mean, being able to identify with the main character, the protagonist, that is helpful, but that's achieved by other means. Don't really have that in this. I'm trying to think, what would be a better game? As an example. Yeah, I guess some of the Legend of Zelda games would to a degree. Because in many of those, you are adventurous to begin with, but you get pulled into the grand adventure that is the game. Like Ocarina of Time, you eventually get out and you see the Ocarina be dropped by Princess Zelda, so you then get pulled into everything that way. Wind Waker, your little sister, is kidnapped. Majora's Mask, well, you kind of get trapped. Oh wait, Skull Kid also steals something from you, so you have to chase after him. But it is, the whole, this isn't your fight necessarily, but you're pulled into it there. And the player is part of that. It's like, it's not just Link that witnesses Zelda dropping the Ocarina and picks it up, it's also the player doing it. So you have the investment that way, you have the identification that way. And so long as that's done well, I'll be happy. Because, I mean, it's like, there are some games where it's like, yes, female protagonist, isn't that wonderful? It's like, okay, you can play through the whole of Portal and Portal 2 not really caring that Chell is a woman. In fact, how do you even find out in Portal 1 that her name is Chell? I don't recall that being stated in... Like, I honestly don't know how people knew that her name was Chell prior to Portal 2, because I think she is actually named in... And it's just the whole... I mean, it's like, it doesn't matter, but it's just weird to see how that... I would consider Portal one of those... It technically is on the list for female protagonist, but it doesn't matter. I mean, it's like, I know this is stupid because of how Portal 2 multiplayer is, but she could just as easily be a robot. And the game would play just the same. Some of the lines from GLaDOS wouldn't make as much sense, but, it's still... It really isn't that significant that Chell's a woman. I just want to pick up the dot. Yeah, I mean... But that's also just how I am. It's like, no, I'd rather be good quality than checking any boxes. And I'd like to believe that most gamers are like that, but that I could be wrong. Could very easily be wrong there. And I'd be disappointed, but, Just make it a good game, and I'll be happy. Make it a bad game, and I'll be unhappy. Alright. This is actually a bad idea, because I don't know where... hang on. Hopefully I can find...
Enemy located! All units...
Before I'm shot at. I can't remember if it is this... I swear, one of the Just Cause games, if you get to a SAM site on the ground, you can actually hack it. But I cannot remember which one that is. It's like, I'm relatively safe at this, so I figure... Try here. Seriously, is this an airport without any SAM? That's just weird. But apparently is the case. Alright, let's keep blowing stuff up. And I do intend to stop after this one. Just clearing this all out. Whoop. That's just trying to think. Is there anything else I can talk about?
Move up! Out!
gonna quit doing it now, but...
Get away! Hit the gun!
He's trying to hide!
Yeah, I am. You got a problem with that? There we go.
We are under attack! Requesting air support!
And if they're actually sending air support, I'm gonna want to be. But mainly I just went to travel. Whoop. I don't think I've ever managed that before. At least not in this game. I do kind of remember in Ghost Recon Breakpoint. And it's I remember when it happened, I actually cut out that clip and sent it just to Bosco, just to be like, this happened. Where I was trying to take off in a helicopter, and I managed to flip the thing upside down. It's like, there's no way to unflip in that game. There's no way to unflip in this game either. Just those two you can, because of the upgrades you can make to the grappling. But yeah, that was just disappointing and depressing. Yeah, it was like I was trying to take off in it and just clip something, like clip a tree or whatever, and just flung over itself, kind of like this did, but this caught on the ground instead. And let's go down. Is that, in addition to working on a keyboard this weekend, although I might actually start today, I'm going to start doing recordings in, so not a review kind of thing, in the Spyro Remastered Trilogy. Spyro Trilogy Remastered, whatever, that released on PC. Yeah, I'm going to be doing some of my Body and Games Gaze Tracker recordings in that, because it should be a good game for that, I think. And I've not played a Spyro game before in my life. I don't think... Well, I can't remember ever, like, renting a PlayStation. I know we rented Sega. But as far as ownership, it was like we were always Nintendo in this house. So, yeah. At some point I will also want to do... I do the... Yeah, it's a Crash Bandicoot game. I think that I also have. That trilogy remastered. So at some point I will also do that. And it will, part of what will be interesting is, aside from just experiencing them for the first time, but being on PC, I'm going to try with the keyboard and mouse control, at least initially. But I do have the DualShock 4, so I would be able to plug that in and see how that is. If I need to, but it's, you know, just generally, if I can do keyboard and mouse, I want to do keyboard and mouse. But there are certainly some games where it's like, nope, that's not a viable option.
Enemy located! All units...
Which is really annoying for PC games, because it's kind of one of those, you know, lowest common denominator things. Everyone with a PC has a keyboard and mouse. Not everyone with a PC has a controller. Why are you making such crappy keyboard and mouse control? I mean, that is, you know, very much a worthwhile question. At least for some. For some games. I can understand some twin stick stuff where it's like, no, that's really best on keyboard and mouse, because, you know, well, sorry, best on controller where you actually have twin sticks. I mean, they call that for a reason. But still is, you know, you should be able to use keyboard and mouse. I think I know what all is left. Let's see if we can grab the helicopter, which will help. Now, I saw the pipeline has a console, so it might be like the previous place I cleared out. Or the prior place I cleared out, where there's also a pickup at it. Oh, no, there's still back there.
Going out of the tank!
This side of it. That should be far enough.
That was fun!
You know, a thought just crossed my mind. In some ways, this is going to be the best time for AMD and NVIDIA, though they're not doing it just yet, but for both companies to look into exotic architectures, let's say. Oh, perfect. I think these are both what I need. So with AMD, that's in the multi-chip design. And NVIDIA is also working on that stuff. It's just Ada Lovelace is not going to be that. At least not for consumers. I'm pretty sure that's the case. Because something I know I've rambled about before that is interesting is how we are at a time where a fair amount of the software technology are not so much targeting higher graphics. It is certainly there, but is targeting higher efficiency. You're getting more out of the hardware. So, you know, you don't have, or it is more just feature-based than, you know, like really neat special feature that, oh no, is going to tank performance. Yes, ray tracing is exactly that, but ray tracing is, you know, still optional for most stuff. Where the heck is this? But yeah, so it's like, you know, it should be safe to experiment at. Oh, there it is. I see. Hi. Alright. You know what? Because I will forget otherwise. Where are the grenades? Oh. Past them. Or are they... Oh, no, it's right. Alright. That topped off. right? What do I want to invest in? I mean, it's just the whole, let's, use up these things while I'm thinking about. But yeah, it will be interesting to see what comes from both right now. Because, I mean, it's like once developers start really taking advantage of such technologies as mesh shaders and variable rate shading, performance is not going to be an issue. Or rather, it was 24. I want to see what it comes to. 24:15. Sorry, 25:15. So I actually didn't even go full hour. But yeah, I mean, it is just, I could see that, right now being a good time where if you can have those in there, if you have support, which currently all the current gen hardware from both companies does support those. But yeah, if they can secure that, as long as they have that, that should be able to open up for at least games going forward if they use those technologies, where it's like, yeah, you can get away with, it's technically less powerful than the predecessor because we're doing something new, but it's not going to compromise your experience. It will be interesting to see, but I don't know of any games coming up that are using those technologies. I mean, it's like, yeah, VRS is being used in some games, but it doesn't seem to be particularly common. Mesh shaders even less so. Which does make some sense. Mesh shaders are far more complex. It's like that's okay, we need to completely change how the graphics pipeline works, which means either we are doing a whole lot of engine work, or we're going to wait until there's an engine that we can just use that, has that as an option. VRS, though, is probably going to be a lot easier to put in. So it's not so surprising that we're seeing games use that more. But, yeah. Anyway, see you next time. I'm done. I don't have anything more to ramble on. I know, so just see you next time.